All right, folks, listen, this is part 3 of my series of 666 videos connecting to my predictions. So make sure you go watch part 1 and part 2 before you watch this. Go watch those first. And you know I have 2 predictions that on June 11th there's going to be some type of spectacular event in the state of Washington. Most likely Seattle is going to be ground zero, that whole area of where Seattle is in King County. And my other prediction is that Trump gets his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. So, you know, I've been pointing out that Elvis is the Antichrist and that Trump is the image of the beast, okay? He's the image of Elvis. Anyway, so I told you that if you put the name Elvis with the word birthday, it equals the exact same as the Antichrist, okay? Now, what is the chance of that? So that means that when Elvis was born, that was the Antichrist. Elvis' birthday is the Antichrist. And you know Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth, okay? So there was 2 of them born on 1/8/1935. But Jesse, who was the identical twin's name, supposedly died. But, you know, who knows? Was he sacrificed or is he still alive? Nobody knows. But anyway, on that day, which was not a leap year that year, okay, his identical twin died, supposedly. So now, when it's not a leap year, from Elvis's birthday to 6/11, if you do not add the day, but up to that day, it's 154 days. And I'll explain to you why that's important. And if you add the day, it's 155 days, okay? But on a leap year, up to that day, it's 155 days. But if you add the day, it's 156 days. Now listen, just like they got rid of the twin, they have to get rid of the twin numbers that match. So this needs to stay, this needs to go, okay? And that's why it's going to happen on a leap year, okay? It's going to be this equation that has to go, and this is going to stay. And why is this so important, this 154 or 155? Well, just like earlier when I told you that Elvis is the Antichrist, when you write out the words the Antichrist, it equals 154. Just like the words Elvis birthday equaled 154. So from Elvis's birthday up to 6/11 is 154 days. When you don't add the day, but up to that day. So the 154 connects to the Antichrist. Elvis's birthday to 6/11 is 154 days if you don't add the day. All right, now, why does it have to connect to both? Because see, when you add the day, it's 155 days. And when you write the words 155, write it out, it equals 216. And this is the first number in gematria when written out that equals 216. And why is that important? Because see, it has to connect to that too. Because the name Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. If you just add up every letter, you'll see it equals 216. But that's not the only reason. It's also because I told you Elvis is the Antichrist. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. So it has the connection to the 666, okay? And when I say Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216, when I say add up the letters, E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, L is the 12th letter, you know, and so on. Just add up all those letters to what it fits in the alphabetical order, all right? So that's why this has to stay, because the 154 connects to the Antichrist, the 155 connects to 216. The first number when written out equals 216, see? And of course, like I showed you in the last video, that August 4th, the day Trump gets his head wound, is the 216th day of the year, you know? That's another reason why what I was just showing you about the 216 was so important. And Obama's birthday is on August 4th. And Trump's head wound is going to be August 4th. And look, Trump's born on 6/14. 6 times 14 equals 84. Because he's going to get his head wound on 8/4, Obama's birthday, which is the 216th day of the year. And the fact that Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216 and 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216 is, I mean, it's so important. Can't you see that? And that's why this equation has to remain, because the first number in gematria that equals 216 is 155. That's why from Elvis's birthday to 6/11, when you add the day on a regular year, not a leap year, it's 155 days. And that's why it has to connect to the 154 and the 155. And do you think it's just a coincidence that if you put into the gematria calculator the letters if you wrote out the words 154, 155, it equals this equation, 450, 216 reduced number, and then total is 666. Okay? And you'll see why this is so important in a moment. I'll get back to that equation in a moment, because remember, Trump is the 45th president. Okay? And he was born on the 165th day of the year. And if you go from the first of the year to 6/14, 165 days, the percentage is 45.21%, right? Look, it's even in the numbers right there, 4521, okay? And the reason I'm showing you that, okay, because look, Trump is the 45th president. He's going to get a head wound. You see this right here is a crown. The O is a crown, or a head, or a face, or an eye, or a ring. You understand? Or a halo, but it's really a crown. A head is a crown, basically. That's why the crown goes on the head. Anyway, so you have the 45 for Trump, the crown, the head. He's going to get a head wound. And when is he going to get the head wound? On the 216th day, August 4th. And you have the 666, you see? And if you've been watching my videos, I told you that the fuse is lit. And what do I mean by that? Because notice that when Elvis turned 45 years dead, because he died on August 16, 1977, the 45-year death anniversary was last year on August 16th. From that day, when he turned 45 years dead, August 16, 2022, to next year, June 11, 2024, is 666 days. Do you notice something? See, you have the 45, then to the 666. That's exactly what you see here. 45, the crown, the 216. Remember, 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. And then you get the 666. See, from the 45 mark through and then 666. So you understand? So this is the end result. 666 days later, like I just showed with the death anniversary of Elvis. It's going to be 666 days on June 11, 2024 from the 45-year death anniversary of Elvis. Okay? And what would happen if you put Elvis Aaron Presley, his name, with that last equation that I just showed you? So if I were to add Elvis Aaron Presley to this equation, what would we get? You see, I added Elvis Aaron Presley to the 154 and 155. Look what you get. 666. And this is the only equation that's going to do that in consecutive numbers. Okay? Only 154, 155 can do that in consecutive numbers, back to back. I checked every date, and no back-to-back dates do that. You know what I'm saying? Like next to each other dates. Only these two consecutive numbers with Elvis Aaron Presley. I mean, do you understand that? And if you still think this is a coincidence, remember, it was at the 45-year death anniversary right here in 2022 when he turned 45 years dead at the 2022 mark, okay? And then from there, it was 666 days later, next year, June 11th, right? But look, this was the, center point, right? The 2022 at 816, get it? 816-222. Watch this. Only on a leap year, now pay attention, only on a leap year can this happen. So Uh, when you go from Elvis's birthday to the day Elvis died, August 16th, within the same year, from Elvis's birthday to August 16th, only on a leap year is 222 days if you add the day. 222 days gets 60.66%. See, it's the 666 at the 222 mark at the 816. 816 to the 222, 666. Are you getting what I'm saying? It was the 816 at the 222, then the 666. And if you still think that's a coincidence, how many times have I told you that the letter O is a crown? And the letter O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. Okay, so it's 15 and O, like the number 150 would be like a 15 and the O. And Elvis died on 816, right? Let's say you, look at this. If you were to put 666 with 150, you would get 816. And that's Elvis's death date. You see? So you put the 150, the crown, and the 666, you get 816. You see that? Anyway, folks, I wish you knew how difficult it was to explain the unexplainable. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, like I said, it's so hard to explain the unexplainable, okay? But anyway, like I said, this equation has to stay. This one has to go, and that's why this June 11th is going to happen on a leap year. The equation, I mean, this event is going to happen on a leap year on June 11th. And let me just show you one more connection to the 154, 155. From the exact day Elvis was born to the year he died, see, he died on August 16th, 77, right? Notice that the amount of days, and what is this day, what is this right here, 6/11/1977? That was when Seattle slew a horse, won the most prestigious race in horse racing called the Triple Crown. It's the most important thing you can win in horse racing. And a horse called Seattle Slew won it on June 11, 1977. And what does slew mean? It means to violently kill. Seattle gets slewed. You see that? And that was the same year Elvis died. Now think about that. How is this possible? And notice, look at the numbers. From Elvis's birthday to that day when Seattle Slew won the Triple Crown, you have the 154 connection. And of course, the 9 and 6 is a crown because 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 is the letter O, remember? So you have the Antichrist crown. And then notice this, from Elvis's birthday to the day Elvis died is the 155. So you have 154, 155. And if you go from the first of the year to June 11th, it's 162 days. So you even have that connection in there. 155 and the 162. All right, but basically I was just showing you the 154, 155 equation. Because I was just trying to show you that, See, they didn't do anything on that day. This was just a ritual, the 154, 155 you just saw. But the actual event is going to be this equation next year. See? That was just a warning they did, what I just showed you, the Seattle Slew equation. And remember, I just told you that horse won the Triple Crown. Notice what the Triple Crown is. 3 crowns, the 3 O's. And O, the letter O is 15. And if you reduce the number, it's a 6 because 1 plus 5 is 6. So that's the crown, you see? It's 666, which is 18. Elvis was born on the 18th, on 1/8, get it? And the 45. Trump is the 45th. And I showed you the 45-year death anniversary connection. When Elvis turned 45 years dead, from that day that he turned 45 years dead to next year, June 11, 2024, is 666 days. Anyway, like I said, this equation must stay. And why is that? Is because of this reason. Because I told you, it's the only time when you put Elvis Aaron Presley with consecutive numbers, 154, 155, it'll add up to 666. I did this with every other number and it doesn't work. If you go throughout the whole year, you know what I'm saying? Up to 365 days, 366. You understand? It has to be consecutive. That's why it has to be that June 11th date. Anyway, like I said, Elvis is the beast out of the seed, okay? They're going to birth the Antichrist on June 11th, okay? And notice I told you Elvis with the word birthday equals the exact same as the Antichrist. It's the only famous person. Nobody is as famous as Elvis. I mean, you know, I mean that goes with the word birthday that equals the words the Antichrist. All right. Anyway, folks, end of video.